The Fight Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get yourself $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code SGPN. That's $50 in bonus funds when you play just $5 when you sign up with the promo code SGPN.
Having run through the gauntlet of champions, strikers of the highest caliber.
Oh, he gets it done! Oh my gosh!
And the toughest, most intimidating fighters of this era, the South African middleweight champion stands alone as the only man to overthrow and conquer every monster in his path. Well, except for one.
He relies on people being scared of his wrestling and just being defensive. I don't get scared when I'm in the fight. When I go out there, losing is not an option.
Tonight, as the UFC returns to Chicago, Illinois for the first time in 6 years, the most terrifying challenger in the sport is taking the Windy City by storm. A beast from Russia who has come to embody the true meaning of domination. Undefeated, 14-0, with one of the fastest knockouts in UFC history on his resume.
Just like that! One and done!
And an inhuman ability to crank up the heat till it reaches a breaking point.
Oh, he tapped!
That was fast!
Khamzat Chimaev, is that good?
I think he messed up his jaw.
Oh, he just crushed it.
Nobody can stop me.
And still!
First, it's full speed ahead at featherweight, and the pride of Manchester, England has all the momentum.
Oh, Lerone Murphy! Wow!
Undefeated and undeterred in his quest to stay a leg up on the rest of the division. It's time to jump right back into the fire. Standing in his way, a force of nature who is making his long-awaited UFC debut, decorated as a world-class wrestler, nasty with his hands, and hungry to show the world that he's here to overpower the fields.
I'm dangerous everywhere. I mean, I can wrestle, I can strike. I'm going to be a huge problem for everybody.
I'm the champ, I'm the king, kill everybody! Ah! Is there no one else? Is there no one else?
What happens when the irresistible force meets the immovable object? When supernatural pace goes head-to-head with unceasing pressure? It's time to find out. As the champion carries the division's longest active win streak with him, along with the heart of South Africa, to confront the very boogeyman of the ranks. Singular in power, savage wherever the fight takes place, coming to seize the division. Live from the sold-out United Center in Chicago, Illinois, it's UFC 319, Plessis versus Chimaev, and it starts right now.
You are listening to The Fight Show here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You can follow the Sports Gambling Podcast Network on X at the SGP Network. That's at the SGP Network, and also at Gambling Podcast. That's at Gambling Podcast. You can also follow me on X. I'm the host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast, the winningest podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And you can follow me at SGP Soccer. That's at SGP Soccer. Be sure to download the SGPN app for all of our free picks and all of our free podcasts in one convenient place. Get the SGPN app wherever you get your apps. If you're looking for additional free picks and free podcasts from me, search for Lock Betting both on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. The Lock Betting YouTube channel is churning out free content, including NFL previews for all 32 teams, whilst the NFL content for the season will be on the Lock Betting podcast. That's where we'll put out our weekly NFL show. That's where we just put out our free La Liga preview, and that's where we'll be covering the Bundesliga for free this season. So be sure to download and subscribe to the Lock Betting podcast and the Lock Betting YouTube channel as well. There's also a Soccer Gambling Podcast YouTube channel as well for free soccer content. But of course, if you want to get all of my official plays, head over to lockbetting.com. That's where I post my tracked and transparent plays that go towards my spreadsheets. And my spreadsheets accumulate to 146 months in a row of transparent and track profit. What that means is that I haven't had a single losing month in sports betting for over 12 years. Now, I've had losing days. I don't have Gray's Sports Almanac from Back to the Future. I can't predict the future. I've even had losing weeks, but I've never had a losing month, and I have all the spreadsheets there to verify that. The historical spreadsheets are posted on the lockbetting.com website, along with where you can sign up for the service. But the more recent stuff, that is all posted on the Instagram. The Instagram is at lockbetting. It's a hub for everything that we do. You'll find the latest spreadsheets there. You'll find betting information videos. You'll find free plays. You'll find it's the best place to contact me if you have any questions. If you don't have Instagram for any reason, you can contact me on the X account at SGP Soccer. But it's also the place where we do post those spreadsheets with the latest 3 pinned to the top. And by having access to those spreadsheets, you can see that we really have delivered 146 months in a row of transparent and track profit. You can see they're verified by existing members and adjudicated, and most importantly, you can see the type of bets we do, the sports we bet on, and how we manage a bankroll, because we manage a bankroll sensibly. This isn't one of those services where we put out 5-star plays or 20-unit whales or a play of the year, which seems to come out every week. This is a serious service where you invest in sports rather than gamble on sports. So it's not one of these degens only things, or ride or die, or hedging is for pussies. No, hedging is for winners. Hedging is for people who are looking to invest in sports betting and are looking to make a profit on a monthly basis. And that is what we do over at lockbetting.com. So if you want to get serious about sports betting, and you don't need a massive bankroll to get involved, you just need some disposable income, because you don't have a disposable income, you shouldn't be gambling anyway. I'm not here to solve your financial problems. I'm here to make sports betting more fun by helping you invest in it rather than losing in sports betting. So as I said, I don't like to use the word gambling because we are just so consistent with it, which is why I prefer to refer to it as sports investing, because that is what we are doing with 146 months in a row of transparent and track profit. And this is really the best time to sign up. I always think of August as the start of the betting year, because we have the start of the EPL and the other European leagues. We're posting out our soccer futures. We're posting out Champions League futures for the Champions League. We're looking at the NFL with our NFL futures coming up as well. We have the US Open tennis this month too, and we have a 44-3 record on Grand Slams all time, and we have just smashed the French Open, and we also delivered another profit for Wimbledon as well. So we're having a great year, and that really just adds to everything. It really is the best time to sign up. And of course, you will get plays for the boxing tomorrow and UFC 319, which we are now going to move across to and cover. And man, this is a real big time UFC pay-per-view. It's been a couple of down years for UFC. They have struggled to create stars, to generate interest, to make those big matchups that really do catch the eye. And it probably doesn't help that John Jones nowadays is pretty much inactive. They say he's retired, or he says he's retired, but I'm not so sure about that, because now he's interested in fighting in the White House. Obviously, Conor McGregor's not really fighting, but he's obviously back in the testing pool. But these are your two biggest stars. Outside of that, you had Israel Adesanya, but his star has fallen because he got beaten twice by Plessis, who's in this main event tomorrow. Other than that, over the last few years, you lost Ronda Rousey, you lost Brock Lesnar, Anderson Silva retired. So your big stars are gone. There really aren't too many household names in the UFC now, and they are struggling to make big matchups. The pay-per-views look like fight night cards. The fight night cards are very skippable, and it's not often we get a genuine massive pay-per-view with a huge main event, but this is it. In Chicago tomorrow night, this is what UFC should be. This is what UFC pay-per-views should be. A genuine main event with big stakes on the line. And I really do find this one tough to call. And with there being a clear favourite in this fight, according to the rules of betting, if something's close to a 50-50 in your mind and there's a clear favourite, you almost automatically have to divert to the underdog. And it's Dricus du Plessis who is the underdog here in this fight, around about 2-1 plus 200, with Khamzat Chimaev coming in as the 2-5 favourite. Now, the lines weren't as wide as this when this fight was first announced, but Chimaev is getting most of the handle, but the public are actually on du Plessis, probably looking for the value and probably feeling the same as me, that this is closer to a 50-50 fight, with quite a clear narrative for some people, with people believing that Chimaev has to get this done early, probably in the first couple of rounds, and if he doesn't, then du Plessis, with that absolutely ridiculous engine, will just take over and may be able to even get a late stoppage. If not, he'll be ahead on the scorecards at the end of this fight, because he's heavily expected to take over and win the last remaining 3 rounds. So that would be the 3rd round and those championship rounds, because that's deep waters that Chimaev doesn't know as much about as du Plessis. There's actually a special bet here that I'm looking at being put out where you can take du Plessis to win in rounds 4 or 5 or by decision. And that is what a lot of people are leaning towards if, and it's a big if du Plessis can survive the early onslaught from Khamzat Chimaev, the number 3 ranked fighter here in this division. But he comes into this one with a 14-0 record and has come nowhere near losing. Du Plessis has lost 2 fights previously, but never in the UFC, where he has a 9-0 record and has really fought the best of the best. Adesanya, Strickland, du Plessis has taken them all out. It really has been an unbelievable run to this point. But I would argue he faces his biggest test tomorrow and is a clear underdog here, according to the books. The method victory market sees du Plessis here at 9-2 to win by TKO KO. It's 6-1 on points, which is a really big price given how a lot of people expect this to play out, and he's at 9-1 to get it done via a decision. Chimaev is at 4-1 to find the win via TKO KO. He's 5-1 on points, and the shortest price here in the method of victory market is Chimaev by submission, which is priced up at 6-4 plus 150.
The path to middleweight gold goes through South Africa. The undisputed UFC middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis, has taken the MMA world by storm.
His relentless knockout power. Just a tank of a human being.
Undefeated in the UFC, he has smoked every single person that he's fought.
Is there no one else?
Where's Khamzat Chimaev at?
That's got to be the next guy in line.
I can't think of a more chaotic matchup. Oh, it's it. It's over. Have you ever seen a phenom like Khamzat Chimaev?
He is an absolute animal. Doesn't care who's in front of him. He just attacks. I come in front of everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king.
This fight is going to be unreal.
Dricus du Plessis is a wrecking machine.
He's an undeniable finisher, and this man has got a serious point to prove. He wants to beat the greatest of all time. Khamzat Chimaev, a force unlike anything the fight game has ever seen.
Give me the belt.
So let's try and pick a winner here and break down how this fight could potentially be won. We've already kind of touched on that, and I've already told you it's very, very difficult for me to pick the winner of this fight. Therefore, what we do in that situation is we approach it as bettors. Now, I see this as close to a 50-50. Other experts clearly see it the same way, because I've seen a lot of experts picking both fighters. It's almost been 50-50, which plays into what I said earlier with this being a very difficult fight to call and being close to a 50-50 fight. I would lean Chimaev. But when I say I would lean Chimaev, that's very, very narrow. That would be taking Chimaev at something like -130, -120, nothing close to -240, -250, which is kind of where we're at this point in time, which moves all the value over to Du Plessis. Given the fact it's close to 50-50, given the fact that it's close to 50-50 when it comes to experts picking this fight, and given the fact that Du Plessis has passed every single test so far in the UFC, and there are actually more questions about his opponent, which is crazy to say given the fact he's got a 14-0 record. That means that as bettors, or at least for me as a bettor, I have to be going with Du Plessis, even though I narrowly lean towards the favourite. But there's no value there, and there is significant value on Du Plessis, who has the best resume out of everyone at 185 pounds and comes in with the belt. He's already beaten Sean Strickland. He's already beaten Israel Adesanya. He's already finished former champion Robert Whittaker and even submitted Israel Adesanya by way of a 4th round face crank. His style is ugly, it always has been, but you cannot argue with the results, and it is that ugly style that makes him such a difficult opponent to take on. And as I just said a second ago, it's strange to say, but the jury is more out on his opponent. And you're looking at someone here with 12 finishes in 14 fights, but he's also someone who has looked inconsistent at times. Now, at certain points, he's in there and he's absolutely destroying opponents, which is what he did to Dillian Li. He destroyed him. He annihilated Robert Whittaker. But at the same time, he's out there squeaking his way past Gilbert Burns. He suffered a complete collapse in his 5-round fight against Kamaru Usman, who essentially jumped off his couch to cash a save-the-day paycheck and keep Chimaev fighting in Abu Dhabi. And he didn't look good in that fight at all, and essentially grinded out the win on that occasion. It's probably harsh to deep delve so much into the odd poor performance from Chimaev, but we're looking at small margins here, and Du Plessis has been pretty much flawless in the UFC since he came across and has built up this 9-0 record and has much stronger wins, has faced much stronger opponents than Chimaev. Now, would it surprise me at all if Chimaev gets Du Plessis out of there, if he manages to get his hooks into him and just chokes him out? No, absolutely not, because that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to lock on. He's looking to go to that position where he feels most at home. He's going to sit there. He's going to wait. He's going to see what you're going to do. Once you start to post, he's going to take you out and he's going to jump onto the other side, take out the other post, get his hooks in. He's going to beat you up until you give him his neck. He's going to crank it. He's going to take it. And that's going to be the end of the fight. If he could wrestle, he would wrestle all day, every day. He doesn't want to do anything on the feet, but he's coming up here against a fighter in Du Plessis that's going to keep him busier than anybody ever has done before. This guy just doesn't stop moving, and he has absolutely insane cardio. And if this does get into the 3rd, 4th or 5th round, that's going to be a massive positive for him, because that's where he's going to take over, and he's going to make Chimaev work from the very beginning. That's going to force him to be a little bit more defensive, and he's not going to be able to focus so much on what he wants to do, and that's going to be the situation from the very beginning. So that's definitely going to help Du Plessis get into those championship rounds if he can distract Chimaev, if he can throw him off his game, if he can keep him busy with his awkward fighting style, mixing it up and making him work and forcing him to work a lot harder than he's worked before. And I think that plays into du Plessis' hands. I think he has what it takes to ultimately survive like nobody else has in this early period. And if he can get there, then there is no doubt that he becomes the favourite when we enter the last 15 minutes and especially the championship rounds of this fight. So I just think there's more ways for du Plessis to win than Chimaev, and that really is saying a lot when you have somebody priced up as a significant underdog in a fight. I think for me, as far as a better goes, and I want to make that point clear once again, as far as a better goes, this is not a gun to my head situation. Gun to my head, life on the line, I'll take Chimaev as a narrow favourite. But we're talking about sports betting here. We're talking about a fight which I see as almost a 50-50. We're talking about a fight where a lot of experts are picking the underdog. You can almost find as many predictions for one as you can for the other. And the price doesn't reflect that situation. So for me, that's where you have to go for the underdog as a better. From a betting perspective, I'm going to go with du Plessis to win this fight at the price of around about 2-1 plus 200. And that is going to be your lean for tomorrow's UFC 319 main event between du Plessis and Chimaev. If you want to get my official plays for all of the other fights on this card that I want to bet on, including the prelims, then head over to lockbetting.com, where I'll be putting out a full UFC 319 card. We've had a very successful year betting the UFC, and we're hoping for another big night tomorrow. And you can get my UFC plays and my boxing plays over at lockbetting.com. Now, I want to move over to the boxing because there is a huge fight taking place tomorrow as Moses Itauma, who's supposed to be the future of the heavyweight division, where they're already talking about him being the next opponent for Alexander Usyk if Usyk doesn't have the third fight with Tyson Fury. But tomorrow he faces his biggest test so far as he goes into the ring against Dillian Whyte. And we're going to break it down here on this show, which is why we're not doing more UFC 319, because tomorrow is a massive night for combat sports, and therefore we're going to cover just the UFC main event, and the rest of the plays are at lockbetting.com. And we're going to close out here by looking at this fight between Itauma and Whyte. Before we do that, though, let me take this quick pause to let you guys know that we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course your football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, so head over to MyBookie.ag and use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply, but that's MyBookie.ag and the promo code SGPN. And I didn't mention it on the list there, but you can also go there and bet on everything for UFC 319 as well. It's also the main place I'm recommending to people to bet on the WWE, because I always get asked that question, where do you bet on the WWE? Well, I suggest you head over to mybookie.ag and use the promo code SGPN. Let me also utilize this pause to tell you guys about Rhythm. Rhythm's power trends are now called smart signals, and they are crushing it at the moment. WNBA smart signals are 97 and 65 in July. That's a 15% return on investment. And you don't need to watch the WNBA. I know no one wants to watch it, but you don't need to watch it to make money on it or to cash via Rhythm. Scott and Adam were literally booted off one of their bookie accounts for winning too much. That's actually happened to me multiple times. Bookies don't like to lose, and they will cap your account or close your account if you win too much money, and that's been the case because of Rhythm. So if you want to try it out, get your 7-day free trial now by heading over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Let me also utilize this pause to tell you guys about Circa Million and Circa Survivor, because the world's greatest sportsbook, Circa Las Vegas, are hosting the world's biggest pro football contest, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Gran Turismo, with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true degen if you're not competing in the Circle football contests. Now, the contest are open to everyone. You can sign up in Nevada, but you can play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. To get involved, go to footballcontest.com and use the promo code SGP to get 50% off your proxy fees. So not only helping you out, they're helping you get 50% off as well by heading over to footballcontest.com and using the promo code SGP for 50% off your proxy fees. And finally, Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $50 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. So be sure to get involved and head over to Underdog Fantasy and sign up for Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers as well. Play just $5 and get yourself $50 in bonus bets when you sign up with the promo code SGPN.
In the heavyweight division, legacy is earned, not gifted.
Itauma wins in one.
Like I said, it's Moses Itauma's time. And for Moses Itauma, the road to greatness is being paved one fight at a time. In his last outing, Moses Itauma faced Whyte former American football linebacker turned knockout artist, known for his knockout power and physicality.
And he's in with a hard-hitting Mike Balogun.
Balogun brought the pressure early, but Itauma brought poise beyond the years. Winning by a vicious TKO in round 2, he made a statement. Still just 20 years old, the Southpaw female is unbeaten, unbothered, and of course to become Britain's next world heavyweight champion.
I'm called the brightest prospect or whatever I'm called. It's just noise.
You got more chance of winning the lorry than you beating that Moses Itauma, let's be honest about it.
In my mind, the last thing I'm thinking about is trying to prove someone right or wrong. I've got my self-worth and self-respect for me not to give up.
20 years of age, done everything up to the jet has been asked them. And obviously going in with somebody like Dillian, who's got a wealth of experience at the top level and so forth, would be a really big test for him.
When I first turned professional, it was obviously breaking Mike Tyson's record, undefeated world champion. We couldn't do that. So now it's just like step by step, fight by fight. If you're gonna ask me like what's my plan in this division, is to knock Dillian Whyte out, I guess.
A lot of the general public the expectations almost like it's a 2 or 3 round job for Moses. And my opinion is if there was any other heavyweight in the world boxing Dillian Whyte, they wouldn't challenge a 2 or 3 round job. So I think that just tells you how highly people think of Moses.
Today you're gonna say that you're the best, tomorrow it might say you're the worst. But like if I wake up in the morning, I'm still gonna be Moses Itauma.
Moses has breezed through his opponents up until now, not going past the 6th round in 12 fights. This will be his toughest fight to date. And the man who's standing in his way,
I'm going up against Mike Tyson, and he didn't come here to Mike Tyson, and now do fight with him, and I'm just towards me. I never even been compared to Jerry Cooney.
the body snatcher, Billi and Whyte.
Proof no one. Other pressures on him.
Dillian do something that this kid hasn't seen before. The pros on this level is totally different.
Chipping away, bobbing and weaving. So yeah, Moses, the winner with Moses is something for me to get back.
When Whyte finally got a shot at world glory, it wasn't meant to be. And after having to pull out of his last fight against Joe Joyce due to an injury to his hand, he now has another chance. A win over the hottest prospect in the division could catapult him back amongst the big hitters.
Okay, bring my career back. Obviously, I've been a bit in the long grass for the last couple of years, obviously, in misfortunate situations. I've been a bit in the long grass.
August 16th, during the Esports World Cup in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, on the global home of boxing, DAZN, this is more than a fight. This is one of those moments. Does the torch pass on to Moses Itauma, or does Dillian Whyte derail a future superstar?
I mean, we can't go out and try to gun. He's young. He's youngster, fast, you know what I mean? So we got to get him into, these deep waters. That's the key. Got to get him into deep waters where he hasn't been.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
No light at that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think Moses...
Obviously, I've been written off. Everyone put me as the underdog. I've been written off, and it was great for me.
Written off, but not out. Is this the last outing for the veteran, or a chance to remind everyone of his legacy? It's a crossroad. If Itauma wins, the path to a world title gets clearer. The talk becomes reality. If Whyte wins, the comeback is on. The veteran stays alive. This is a classic case of youth versus experience. Moses Itauma. One fight, two futures. Live on DAZN, August 16th. Don't miss it.
So let's break down this heavyweight fight. Is Moses Itauma the future of the heavyweight division? I mean, he literally spoke in that clip. By the way, that clip is the promo for this fight. And on YouTube, you can see a load of comments complaining about who the fuck edited this? Why is the music so loud that it's playing over the narrator? And it's correct. How the fuck can a massive company like DAZN have such a poorly edited piece to promote a massive fight that they've obviously spent a lot of money to acquire? It doesn't make any sense how, with all of the people out there who work as editors, how that's what you've ended up with as your final cut. I mean, a fucking 12-year-old on CapCut would have actually produced something that sounded better than that shit. But it's the only thing I could have put on here to kind of give you a feel of what this fight was all about, other than what I obviously said about it. But yeah, the expectation is for Moses Itauma to take over this division at some point. And I was just about to say, he even spoke there about how he was disappointed that he didn't break Tyson's record as the youngest heavyweight champ, but they still move forward trying to achieve what he can achieve. And he was genuinely disappointed that he isn't already a world champion, and that's probably in his future. Although they've not been able to get him there at the pace that he wants to go. But I think the pace that he needs to go should see him avoiding Usyk, because I would really slow things down right now and wait for Usyk to win a couple of more fights, win that third fight with Fury, maybe take one more and get him out of the way, because I don't see a situation where Moses Itauma ever beats Alexander Usyk unless the fight happens in 3 or 4 years' time. Because if it's his next fight or any time in the next 18 months, Usyk wins. For Itauma to beat Alexander Usyk, I don't care how good people think he is or how good he's going to be, I think he needs to wait for Usyk to really get into the twilight of his career. And I don't think Usyk's going to do that. I think Usyk is relaxed with where he's at now. We've obviously saw a unbelievable performance from him last time out. But I only think he's going to fight a couple of more times. And I don't think one of those opponents is going to be Itauma. And if Itauma is someone he fights and they rush this and Itauma fights Usyk in the next 18 months, then he's going to lose. So I would slow that shit down. Dillian Whyte right now is the perfect opponent for you. Forget about the Mike Tyson thing, because it's gone. Slow things down now, or just, in fact, not even slow things down. Just stay at this pace that you're at. You've done things at the right pace. Dillian Whyte's the right opponent right now. And there are other opponents you can face. I mean, you could fight Anthony Joshua in a massive, massive money fight, and Itauma would probably beat him. That would be a massive scalp for you. That would be a fight that you could take in the meantime. And that's a bigger fight. That's a bigger payday for you and an easier opponent, because at this juncture, any time in the next 12 to 18 months, this guy is not beating Alexander Usyk. But Anthony Joshua, he's there for the taking. Daniel Dubois, that's another one. He's there for the taking. I think Itauma could beat Dubois. I think Itauma could beat Joshua. He might even be able to beat Tyson Fury, although that's more difficult because of Fury's size and his more awkward style. But right now, in the present, Dillian Whyte is a big enough name and the right fight to be taken. Itauma here is a huge favourite at 1-8 minus 800. It's 25-1 on the draw, and Dillian Whyte is available at 6-1 here, but he's as big as 7-1 in other places. The method of victory market here sees Itauma at 6-1 via decision and at 2-7 minus 350 to get this done via KO TKO, which is obviously a method that a lot of people are expecting here. The draw is 22-1. Whyte via decision is at 18-1, and it's blanked out here for Whyte via KO in this particular book. I have absolutely no idea why. Going elsewhere here, I'm seeing 9-1 on Whyte via TKO KO, but the odds checker page has got that blanked out in a grey box. That usually means someone's had a big bet on it, which I can't imagine why anybody would be betting on Dillian Whyte to win this fight via a knockout. I think for Whyte, it's not realistic that he would win this fight at this point of his career. He's coming to the end of his career. Dillian Whyte is done now. He's playing gatekeeper for me in this particular situation. And if he could see, if Itauma's everything that he's supposed to be, everything that the hype suggests he is, if Whyte could even reach the second half of the fight, then that would be a very respectable showing for the body snatcher, who was accidentally referred to as the baby snatcher this week. Tony Bellew actually recently said on Darren Baker's show that he expects Whyte to logically to try and get through the first 6 rounds just to see what Itauma's all about, just to see what he has. And I think he will make it through to the second half of the fight. I think experience alone actually makes him a different level of competition compared to what Itauma's faced before. And Itauma can't afford to get ahead of himself and expect it to be easy, because this is someone who's been in there with some of the best fighters in this division. And as I said, this is the right fight for Itauma to be taking. This is a proper test. And ultimately, Itauma should win. I think he will win with his speed, with his power and his skill. He's certainly capable of getting Whyte out of there earlier than that. But I just have the feeling it will get to the second half of the fight. I think this is a very good matchup for where Itauma is at this point of his career. He may be able to bowl Whyte over, yes, but it's the sort of natural step he has to get through here at this point of his career, and shouldn't be thinking about trying to be the next Mike Tyson at all, because there'll never be another Mike Tyson in my eyes. Dillian Whyte here has been chosen for a reason. I think there's a belief from Itauma's promoter that he's washed. But even if he still has any dangerous power and Itauma gets confident, we could be seeing a absolutely major upset that will just completely derail Itauma, and just suddenly within seconds evaporate all of that hype and all of that potential. As for how we bet this, I do think it gets into the second half, but not too far into the second half. I think consistent damage is going to be getting done as far as Whyte goes, and finally it will be too much. The speed is where I think Itauma is going to make the biggest difference. So with youth comes speed, and Itauma is going to be hitting Whyte here from the very beginning. And it's going to be very, very difficult for Whyte to see the final bell, which he won't do because I think Itauma will get him out of there. But as I said, I think it will come in the second half of the fight. Whyte will land a few shots that will open Itauma's eyes and show him what he needs to do in the gym, what needs immediate attention in the gym, at least defensively. But in the end, I think it's going to be valuable experience for the Rising Star. And I think the Rising Star is going to get through this fight. The way I'm looking to bet this, I'm looking at the total rounds markets where over 3.5 rounds at 4-9, under 3.5 rounds at 13-8. But then it's a big jump up when you get to over 4.5 rounds, because it's 10-11 on the over and 10-11 on the under. At over 5.5 rounds, you're entering plus money territory with the over at 6-5 and the under at 4-6 minus 150. And that is past your halfway point here in this fight, because this is a 10-round fight. And at over 5.5 rounds, you've negotiated 5 rounds and you've negotiated the first minute and a half in round number 6 as well. And when you get to over 6.5, you're getting big plus money there at 2-1 plus 200, which is 6 full rounds and 1.5 minutes of round number 7. And that's around about the point that I expect Itauma to win. So you can actually go to the group round market here and you can take Moses Itauma to win the fight between rounds 6 and 10. And that is available at 3-1. If you think he's going to win it in the first 5 rounds, that's very short at 8-11. Now that could easily happen, but I'm willing to bet on this fight to get into the second half. So I'm going to go with the over 4.5 rounds, which means that I need to get halfway through round number 5 to cash this selection, and that is available at 10-11 minus 110. And I also like the look of Moses Itauma to win the fight in round 6-10 at around about 3-1 plus 300. I don't think Whyte is going to survive the full 30 minutes and make it through this 10-round fight. I do think Moses Itauma is going to get to him, but I think Itauma is going to get tested. I think he's going to get hit. I think he's going to find out a lot about himself. I think he's going to find out about what he needs to work on in the gym. And this is the right fight to take at the right time against the right opponent. I think he's going to come through it. But in no way after this fight are we going to probably feel like that Moses Itauma should be fighting Alexander Usyk next. And I think the best thing for his career, as I said, would be to avoid Usyk entirely, because there are other fights out there that make more sense. Go and fight Daniel Dubois. Go and fight Anthony Joshua. That's a massive payday for you. Let Alexander Usyk retire with the belt so you never have to fight him. And then you can go on and dominate this division as expected. So no lock on this show. I'm not going to close out with a lock on this show. I'm going to tell you guys instead to head over to lockbetting.com. 146 months in a row of transparent and track profit. Best time to sign up. Still time to get on the European soccer futures. NFL futures coming up shortly at the beginning of September. You can bet on the US Open tennis as well. You can get all the plays for EPL match day 1, all the other European plays that we are doing, and then all of your plays for UFC and boxing tomorrow night as well. And to get those, you need to sign up for the Ultimate Pack. That is the transparent and track package that has delivered 146 months in a row of transparent and track profit. That's what you see in the spreadsheets. The latest spreadsheets are pinned to the top of the Instagram, which is at LockBetting. Go and have a look. You'll see the type of bets we do, the sports we bet on, and most importantly, how we manage a bankroll. Everything is verified by existing members who are enjoying this service, who are profiting from this service, who are benefiting from investing in sports rather than gambling and losing. So if you want to get all of your boxing and UFC plays tomorrow, head over to lockbetting.com. That's it for me. Good luck with all your bets as always, and thanks for listening.